Welcome to Mac and Blue, where we introduce you to who is building Arizona, bringing you the people and businesses that shape the landscape around us. From economic development and developers, underwriters and lenders, architects and engineers, to the very builders and suppliers that bring it all together. Now let's join our hosts, Robert Johnson and JJ Levensky, aka Mac and Blue.
Welcome to Mac and Blue. I'm Robert Johnson, Vice President of Business Development with Torrey Contracting. This guy across from me is JJ Levensky. He is the president of Blue Wave General Contracting. Am I correct again?
Last time I checked.
Okay.
I haven't been fired yet.
How are you?
Good, you?
Good. You came in a little bit late.
Yeah, we're multitasking today.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'm going to do what I always do, and it catches them off guard. But we have Karen Nowicki.
Yep.
With us as producer, guest producer, I guess you could call her, but we're glad to have her with us.
Well, come on, let's roast Daryl. He's on vacation.
If Daryl's not here, Daryl doesn't exist.
Okay.
Daryl's gone. Yeah. So now we'll double up on him next time, but this is what he gets.
We get to roast him whenever we get the chance.
That is exactly right. And then we have this other handsome gentleman is Forrest Dorhmann. He's smiling and looking like this guy's on something. Eagle Eye Productions, am I correct?
That's it.
Okay. We've been chatting while you've been chatting.
Yeah.
And this guy does things that I didn't even know that they did. So
are they legal?
All the better.
No.
We didn't get to that part yet.
Well,
but
none of it is.
Okay.
None.
But thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
Forrest actually came all the way from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. The place specifically is the city name?
So we're just out of Whitewright. We used to be in Anna, Texas, and now it's Whitewright. We just moved up there.
I'm a Texas guy.
Did you say white rice?
Whitewright? White rice. Yeah, white rice. It's not a brown rice. It's Chipotle.
It's Texas, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
You two Texas boys.
Well, and anything you don't understand, I'll translate. So, Forrest, I appreciate you coming all this way.
Absolutely.
We're going to make it worth your while. You're going to get to see JJ's project at some point this week.
There we go.
And welcome. So what I'd like out of you is tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely.
To start with anyway, and about what Eagle Eye is, and just go for it. Just like we were talking out in the lobby there.
Yeah, well, I'll kind of start off with, I've been in construction for a little bit over 13 years now. It started off as a labor position way back, working for a little renovation company, worked my way into that carpenter position, then kind of a foreman position, and then got kind of tired of doing all those tasks for very little pay, and decided I'd call somebody out in the DFW area, a buddy out in DFW, and asking for a job. And they ended up getting me on a general contracting firm out in DFW. Worked for 2 of those out there for around 5 years, a period of 5 years before I quit and started Eagle Eye. So roughly 10 or 11 years before we started Eagle Eye. We've been in business now since December 19th in 2019. So right before the pandemic hit, kind of a bad time to start a business, but I think
we can bleep out pandemic, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, pandemic, whatever you want to call
exactly.
it, I'm right there, but so we had a lot of fun kind of kicking it off right then about 3.5 years ago. And then since then we've made some awesome relationships. We're doing a lot of fun projects with some really cool companies, and just kind of honored to be able to show off those stories that are so important to see.
So what was the impetus of getting away from being a GC to doing the Eagle Eye, and what is Eagle Eye?
Yeah, so in reality, not that the companies that I was working at were really bad companies. I think there were bad cancers within them, and of course that leads to bad cultures and bad leadership overall. So the goal overall for starting the company, I was working for so long trying to find a company that I could call home, that I could be loyal to and stay with forever, right? I wanted to find that forever company. Couldn't find it. Had a really tough time finding that company. So getting tired of the culture that I was in, thought there's got to be other people like me that are out there that are struggling to find that forever company. There are those companies that are really good companies that can give their people an amazing opportunity, an amazing workplace, and a family to be with. but they were really tough to find, really tough to see, as somebody just, in the workforce area. So the goal was to kind of come out and build, bridge the gap between really good companies and really good people and try to connect good employees with good companies. Good companies are also looking for really good people all the time. And it's tough to find those people that want to be loyal to the company and the company wants to be loyal to them. So if we could find those really good people and those really good companies and create somewhat of a community, which is our mission, right? Then we have this winning formula, if you will, to kind of show off their stories, be able to tell their values and preach that, and hopefully be able to limit the amount of bad workers going into the workforce and into these companies, and having those bad companies, hire really good people.
Sure. Doing a construction dating site.
Yeah, basically. If you want to call it,
That's excellent.
you and me in construction.
I mean, that really is what that is. And
Tinder, eHarmony, whatever
There you
you're
go.
into.
Exactly.
I never thought of it like that, but I mean, basically, that's kind of the goal, right?
Well, and what you need to do is skyhigheagleeye.com is the web.
Say that fast 10 times in a row.
Yeah. No.
Eagle Eye was taken, so we got
skyhigheagleeye.com. And really, while we're having this discussion, you need to check it out.
Yeah.
It's these guys do some really incredible stuff. So I get the whole community. I get that whole piece of it. But how did it get from that to aerial photography?
Well, so originally when I was working for one of the GCs in DFW, one of my tasks as the project engineer or APM role was to go out on site and document all the installation, whether that be steel inspections, concrete rebar inspections, waterproofing applications.
And by document, do you mean
take photos of it?
Okay, gotcha.
And basically, I would take photos of it. I'd have the floor plan of the entire site. Sometimes these are 10, 15 building sites, so there's a lot of different floor plans. And then I would basically hyperlink to tags onto the floor plans to show the documentation of before, during, and after the process, so that we had cheap insurance, basically, to go back at the end if somebody said something's wrong. Okay, well, let's go pull it up on the floor plan and see what could be wrong. Oh, well, they didn't flash it, bottom to top. They flashed it top to bottom or whatnot. So the water is leaking inside the building. So that's what we started off the business doing. And the business was actually called Waterproof, 2 words. Instead of waterproof, it was waterproof. It was basically, we're trying to show the proof, right? Haha,
I get it. Yeah.
So starting off our business, it's like, what do I call it?
Thanks for explaining it to two old guys here.
I just don't know.
Because I was
Can
going,
you draw that out for me?
Yeah, I can. But so that's kind of what we started at, just documenting that process, and then aerial photography as well. And then within like 2-3 months after that, people were asking us to document their people on the site. They wanted to show off, more of their culture in the business. They wanted to show off what they were doing work-wise rather than that documentation. So we kind of scrapped everything documentation.
So you're saying it went all left brain to right brain? So analytical to feelings?
It was like, all right, let's do this really logically. We're going to do this. So, blah, blah. And then it was like, all right, let's go show off our workers. So we scrapped the whole documentation portion of the game and went this route. And once we started diving into it, and as contractors started asking us to do more of that, we realized that there was kind of a gap there. And then, of course, early on when I started the business, the whole goal was to try and come in and work with contractors on building a culture to build a better environment for their people. But I didn't know how to do that. And all that I knew how to do was document job sites. If I wasn't going to be working for a contractor, what is like a need that we could fulfill? And that was it. And in the meantime, I was looking for something that we could kind of help build up the culture, build the structure of a company, and that was kind of in the works. And then once this came up where people were asking to show off their stories, it kind of just clicked. It was like, okay, this is really important, more important than I thought it would be right off the bat. I was never really creative. I was more analytical.
Come on.
I was not.
You haven't looked at this guy's stuff. I'm telling you, I keep saying it. I know I'm going to embarrass him. I mean, so I'm going to interject. So I'm looking through their website. He's got a web developer. He's got a videographer. He's got a graphic designer. It's like,
well, don't you have 3 of those in your staff?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm not creative. And then
Karen does.
And then when you look at their video and stuff on their website, he's telling me, "Oh, I wish I did that years ago." I was like,
"Well, thank you."
No, but I'm getting it, and I'm sorry I interrupted you, but
absolutely.
I get
Forrest, paint by numbers is a challenge for him. So let's just put this.
So I have to do this backwards. So the whole culture thing, it's interesting because we're blue collar guys.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So what I see when I look at your stuff, is making blue collar cool. Okay. If that makes any sense, there's a lot of dirt work so far in this, and we'll talk about that and share that. And it's not all dirt, all civil stuff. That's just what it's become.
Yeah.
But the people that work out in the field that get their boots dirty, that they're kind of that forgotten entity. Yeah. It makes those people, us, feel cool.
Yeah, well, and I think, one of the most important things to us is to make sure that it's realistic, right? Like when we go into companies and we talk to them about providing media services to them, that's one, maybe a tenth of what we do, maybe less than a tenth of what we do is media services. But when we go in and we talk to them, we say we want it to be realistic, right? We want the guys to have the beat up hard hat. We want those guys to have whatever sticker. I mean, we've had to remove some stickers and posts on some hard hats just because their management was like, "Hey, remove that." We like it that way.
I love Forrest.
Yeah, we want it to be real, right? Yeah, that's it. It's definitely that. Those were the stickers on there. No, but I mean, we want it to showcase what it's like, right? Because a lot of people think that everybody is meant for construction. They're not. It's just how it is. Some folks are meant to do accounting. Some folks like accounting. That's not me.
Yeah.
That's probably not you guys, right?
Those people are twisted.
Yeah. Which, and I got to say,
their podcast is tomorrow at 2.
Yeah, there we go. But a lot of people nowadays, they think, we should have an environment that invites every kind of person into construction. Maybe we should invite them in, but at least show them what it looks like, right?
Right.
Because they might not like that. They might not want their boots dirty. They might not want torn up jeans, whatever, early mornings, late nights, long weeks, right? That's what it takes to be in the industry. And overall, those are the true expectations. So when an employer is putting out their media, you don't want to call the guy that's going to come in and say, well, I'm going to take off this day. I'm going to take off that day. Well, I can only be here 8 hours. Well, I can only do this, right? So as soon as we get rid of those people through those expectations, we can start focusing on, we want the best of the best, the ones that want to be part of this industry, that want to work hard. And that's not a dig on those that don't want to do that, right? That's just a different lifestyle. And ultimately, if you can show that way before you even start the application process, then you've saved yourself time on wasting precious resources on interviewing those folks and bringing them in and then them leaving a week later and spending all that money on onboarding. And, that's a huge cost that you saved yourself just because you showed off the reality of what construction looks like online.
Very true. Yeah, very true. You have anything, JJ?
Well, just
at this point.
Sorry, I rambled on there.
No. I smelled smoke, and I usually have to poke him because you'll just burn down.
I feel like we went from here to here because we started as how Forrest got started, went from left brain to right brain.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're solving life's problems in the construction industry.
Yep.
What I'd like to hear is, or I think the audience would love it, is Forrest, go back to when you transitioned to showing off the company stuff, then what started happening?
Yeah, so we started showing it off. I'll kind of move back. When I was about to quit, I had a mentor that was a superintendent that was working on the project, my last project. And I kind of told him what I wanted to do. Hey, I want to, go into these companies and show them how to build a good culture. I want to show them how to, how their people operate and blah, 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 blah. And his exact words to me, a really good friend of mine, really respect the guy still to this day, but he looked at me and said, Forrest, who's going to listen to, I don't know at the time, 23-year-old kid to billion-dollar businesses? Who's going to listen to a 23-year-old kid about these things? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to go out and try, hopefully. So far it's worked, but what we've done is we've established a process that's not just photos, not just video, not just how do we create the foundation so that the culture naturally exists. So there are a lot of companies, a lot of contractors are great at doing their trade, doing what they're really good at. And we basically want to take everything that's not that, and we want to take it out off your hands so you can focus on your trade. And if we apply the right principles, the right values, and the right foundation to the business, then we can create a culture that's just going to already start leading itself in your organization. And it'll solve problems overnight, not overnight, but over a long time without you really realizing it's solving them. They'll just be solving themselves. We took the need for showing off their people and we said, okay, well, what are they really trying to get from this? In reality, they wanted to show off, one, the projects they had pride in, and they wanted to show off their work, their people, to attract more people to their organization. It didn't really matter to them what was in the videos, what was in the photos. And that's where we were like, okay, well, why don't we create some strategies here? Why don't we create, the values in your company to start showing this stuff off? It's way more in depth than just taking photos and taking videos and putting it online. Like, what's the purpose of this? And so if you sit back and you actually find the needs of each business, they're different, but they're the same in some sense. And those values are going to be different. You guys are going to have values that you grew up with that you internalize. You're going to have values that you grew up with and so will I. How do we take those internalized values, put them out into our business so that we attract folks that are like those? And then if your business does that, and through the rest of our services, then we'll probably lead a business that you guys like, right? That you guys really wanted to take pride in. Naturally, it'll just kind of come. So that's kind of how, I don't know if I answered the question, if it kind of answered the question, but that's kind of, we saw
teaser.
that. Yeah, we kind of saw that need of the photos, the videos. And so we've established kind of like a process, if you will, on how to like go more in depth on it than just photos and videos.
But take that deeper into beyond the photos and videos, because we talked about some of this a little bit earlier, a little bit before the program, and I was amazed. Share a little bit about how deep you really,
the family of
how
service
deep you
or
will
whatever you
go,
want to call
how
it.
deep you will go, and knowing the people and having that guy on your team, as they say.
Yeah, well, so I'll kind of run through a lot of times when we, and I probably talked to you about it, a while back, but I'll kind of walk through what we do as far as services and why, and I'll give you the brief version of it, not to waste time or anything, but then each one of those services we can dig into the weeds on at a later time if we need to. But, we look at it like a 5-stage process. When we start with a client or a contractor that we're partnering with for long term, we still do a la carte services. So if somebody's like, hey, we want you to, make a badass video for us. Yeah, we'll do that. If you want us to just build a brand, we'll do that. If you want us to just build a website, we'll do that. But when we partner with somebody, typically it's 5 stages. And the first stage is creating that community around you, right? So our mission is to create a community. We want to create a community with the companies that we work with. We want them to create a community, not just a geographic community, but also one that can look at their values and, hey, maybe you might change somebody's life through your values across the world. So right off the bat, we start off by creating that community by photos, by video, by social media, by writings, blogs, whatever it is. That's kind of stage 1. Stage 2 is going to be looking at your brand and kind of figuring out if it's what you want it to be, visually and behind the scenes. So when people think branding, a lot of times they think, okay, well, what's my logo look like? What's our branding on the truck look like? Before we touch anything visual, we dig deep into your personal character as ownership, as leadership, and as a company. And reestablish or tweak as needed your vision, your mission, your value system, and then your goals over the next 50, 100 years of your business. So after establishing that, we've created a pretty good foundation of what you want in an employee. We now know who's a good fit that's in your organization, who's not a good fit that's in your organization, and now we've got a goal to go chase those types of that work, those types of people, and that is a pretty in-depth process over a couple months that we kind of dive into. And then we create the visual to reflect that, behind the scenes work that we've done. Then the third stage is typically where we put all that information, which is the web development. So we'll go in and typically we stagger it kind of like a construction schedule, right? You've got your community, you've got your branding, you've got your web development, and then all the other stages. They're staggered like if you were to build a Gantt chart, And so we will walk through the web development. Now we've got your branding. Now we've got your social media built. We've got a community that's watching you. And now we can show them all the information that you need, who you are, what you do, what your value system is, what type of people you're looking for, what type of clients you're looking for, how you're trying to change the world, what your purpose is. That will go into the web development. From there, typically there's an influx of hiring because that was kind of the purpose of the website. That's kind of the purpose of doing all this stuff is to hire some people. And so as we do that, we walk through HR process. We look at finances. We'll look at your operational development, how you put people in different positions, how you guys hire, how you have team activities, whatever it is, software that you have in your business, no matter what type of tools you're putting in your business, we'll take a look at it if you want us to. And that's our operational development portion of the business. And we'll walk in and give advice on where we can make it better. You're losing communication from here to here, and that could be better. You're sending invoices like this. You could send them like this and it would be, much better. Whatever it is, operational development is typically stage 4. And then stage 5 is our training section. So right now, all that consists of is taking those folks, whether that's in certain areas, whether finance, HR, leadership, or operator training or trade school kind of certifications. We'll take those guys and facilitate the training for them. So we've got people that we send to operator training, certify them in operator training. We can certify in OSHA 10, 30. We have not broke out into the MSHA area yet for mining, but we're trying to. But over the next, hopefully 2 years, we're going to take that whole training portion of the business and just blow it up.
Oh,
we've got a a lot of really cool technology that we're implementing that we haven't talked about yet because we're not sure if it's really possible.
Okay.
But we are kind of sure that it's possible, depending on how we can approach it. Right. Our mission is to create those limitless boundaries. So we think it's a pretty crazy idea what we're going to try and do, but we're pretty sure we're going to be able to do it eventually. It might not be this year, it might not be next, but we're going to be able to do it. So that's kind of all the 5 stages of what we do. And then from that, we stay in the partnership on a yearly basis to make sure that we can help facilitate those training, keep, updating the media, update the website, keep your branding current and all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break for a second. Hear from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Torrey Contracting, your full-service Division 9 contractor. Torrey Contracting operates with a smaller, hands-on team. This cohesive structure results in superior workmanship and economical solutions. We deliver projects with unsurpassed commitment to quality and stewardship of budget. Torrey Contracting, small enough to listen, big enough to deliver.
One of the things that I'd like to touch on is something that you discussed with me previously when it comes to kind of a philosophy that you have about, and I hate to put this out there. Some people worry that this is going to get taken advantage of. You'll get it. We talked about how you and I both have this similar philosophy about helping people for free, air quotes people.
Yeah.
The video people can see it. But you're a big relationship builder.
Yeah.
You want to build relationships with people that either you are going to turn into business with at some point, or maybe a friend of theirs is going, whatever. It's all about the relationship. So touch on that and what we talked about with in regard to people calling and asking and just that general philosophy that you have.
Yeah. So, I think the most important thing to us is to make that impact, that change in the industry, regardless of, if we're becoming rich or not over it, right? Like none of this is for money. I would be making way more money if I was working in the construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to provide a really good living for the folks that work for us, right? Mm-hmm. We want to be able to create that really nice.
Now he's talking like an entrepreneur.
But,
yeah.
But at the same time, if there's a contractor that really can't afford any of the services that we have, a lot of times they we'll talk to folks for years and years by giving them advice. And that's not to say that we'll do free work.
Correct.
But we're giving them insight into how we do it. Mm-hmm. Right. And we're not going to hide any of our services. We're not going to hide how we do things. We're really going to try and do the best we can at teaching them how to become a better company. Because if we can do that for free, just by talking, communicating, building those relationships, if they go hire so-and-so down the road, it really doesn't matter to us as long as they're making that impact for their people. Like you and I talked about.
Isn't that killer?
Novel concept.
Right.
Yeah.
I think if every business should look at the impact they're making on their people. There's an influx, right, over the last 20 years of, I'm in business to make money. I'm in business to make money. Well, I'm not, doing this for free. I need to, whatever. Yeah. And that's great. Like your business needs to make money overall. It will make a lot more money if you focus on serving your people. That's just how it works. If you focus on serving your client, if you focus on serving somebody that you're not even going to do work with or hire on, that service-minded way of life is going to provide way more payout ROI than you'll ever imagine. The problem is that it's not in a short period of time. It's in a long period of time. And most people are too set on that short-term gratification in business. And a lot of young business leaders are more set on that.
No, so that's what I think is refreshing is because you are a young business leader and you don't hear that very often.
No, I'm processing.
You're soaking it all in? Yeah, I thought maybe you had something, wild that you were going to throw in there.
No, because we could talk about that topic for 2 hours.
Oh, no.
We could go on it.
The servant leadership, the pay it forward thing. I look at the 4 of us are on this table.
We all do.
I know that's Karen's MO. It's yours. It's mine.
Well, and that's the reason why we're in business, right? Is to make those relationships with people like you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the whole, and that's why, like you and I were talking. I think that's I don't consider our business super successful. I think that we're semi-successful because we make those relationships with people. If we didn't make those relationships with people, if we didn't put that effort in first, not worried about the paycheck, then our business wouldn't be around. It's only here because we have really great people that we've made really good relationships with that those are the people that keep a business successful.
How do you find your people?
How do I find what?
Your employees.
Like employees? I do a lot of LinkedIn searching and a lot of phone calls, just a ton of research. And then we sit down and we talk in person. I try to get a feel for who they are, character, the character of the person before I start.
So they're not necessarily local people.
Not always. No. Right now we've got, luckily they're all in Texas. They're not all in the DFW area, but we had.
That's Dallas-Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
Just in case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know.
I'm good.
Okay.
The audience probably.
Okay, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
Daryl's here. Daryl would be holding up a card that says DFW question mark. Yeah. Okay, so Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah, so I mean, our videographer was from Cali. He moved to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
We had people, like right now we've got one of our new hires. He's from Iowa, so he's in Iowa. We've had folks in Alabama and Florida. Right now our whole team is in Texas with the exception of Chase, who's in Iowa. So that's kind of cool. But yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff.
Is there an example, Forrest, of, without mentioning names, of a company that you've worked with in a deeper context that you could give like a testimonial to, of maybe where you started on whatever you're calling it, step one or pillar one, and maybe you didn't get through 5, but do you have one that you've taken through like the 4 steps, and can you speak to that or not?
Yeah, I think and I can name names. I think they probably
they want the chops on.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll go ahead and advertise for those guys. Plus, they're really great friends. Like once we come on with somebody, it's really a personal relationship to us, right? Like I want you guys to be able to trust me with everything, right? If we can't have that trust, then how am I going to give you advice in areas of your business that you're really, really sensitive on, right? So I think Dallas Underground are some of our earlier clients that we've had a full partnership with almost for 3 years now, and we've walked them through the rebranding process, the development, the community process, rebranding, web development. We give them advice in certain areas, but we are diving more into their training hopefully soon. We've talked to them a little bit about it. It's been kind of a slow process because they've just blown up in the last year. Like after, and I'm not saying that's because of us, right? Like they're really good people, really good contractors. They're really good at what they do. And so they've had an influx of folks trying to, come on with their business. So it's been so busy over the last year or two that we really haven't had time to sit down and go over the next, step 4 and step 5 because it's just been growing so rapidly. Hopefully that's something that we'll be doing shortly is take a look at all those people that they've recently hired and how can we train them, right, in the right practices. If it's an operator, how can we take that operator from a C-rated operator to an A-rated operator in a week and a half? Whatever it is. Hopefully we can dive into that process. We've probably got some other clients that we could name, and a lot of them are in the process right now. Since we're such a young company, it's like a lot of these folks are walking through the process currently. So those are probably the 2 that I'd say we've stuck with for the longest.
I mentioned LGE, who's big here locally.
Yep.
It looked like you did some web development work for them.
Nope,
not web development.
No web development, no branding, just photos, videos. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're one of like I said, we'll do a la carte services for clients, and then we'll have our full-time partnerships. They're more of like the a la carte. We've got a monthly aerial site photos every month in Texas. We've got every once in a while they'll have us do a video for them and that kind of thing. But other than that, they've got a pretty good staff over there that manages their website, their branding, and all that kind of jazz. So.
Now, if you look at their website, skyhigheagleeye.com, I love saying it, but it's kind of the kid.
I think you're sky high and eagle high just saying it.
Eagle high, yeah, sky high and eagle high. Yeah, whatever.
He's flapping his wings
we're
in the
not
studio,
in Colorado.
everyone.
That's just from a bad experience in 1960 that still gets me. But it's dirt heavy.
It is.
More by accident than by design.
Yeah.
You certainly are interested in all kinds of construction and promoting all kinds of blue-collar work.
Exactly, yeah.
Structural steel. You talked about being a structural steel nerd. Now,
one of my favorite portions of construction.
Yeah, and he says that because I'm a light gauge steel guy.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's kind of the same thing, only different. That one got you, didn't it? What have we not talked about that you want us to talk about?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm just here to chat. I don't know. I'm just having fun with it.
So to give you a little insight, wait, before you say that so he is such a geek, okay? He walks in, he's got to come in, he's like looking at the studio, he's like checking it all out, the microphones. It's like,
a cool studio.
I love it,
guys
by
have
the
done
way.
really
And
well.
well, thank you very much. And, Karen deserves all the props for that.
She did the interior decorating.
She was the interior decorator, yes.
So it looks awesome.
What's the punchline?
No, the punchline is just that I thought it was cool that,
I thought you were going to tell me that he had an electric protractor and a pocket
I was
protector.
taking like tape measure and line.
he's not. No, I have a feeling he has a photographic memory, and he's got all this down, and he'll go duplicate it somewhere else. But
So you're here with us on this podcast, Mac and Blue Building Arizona. You also have a podcast, is that correct?
Yeah, we've got built. Now,
You can't steal our tagline.
No,
Sorry.
I can't. Okay, wait, hold on. No, Built on Blue Collar is our podcast.
Okay.
And it's very similar to what you guys do, where we bring in industry folks. It doesn't have to be leadership. It can be anybody from the ground all the way up to the owner, right? And we just BS about construction, whether what their experience is, where we can make the industry better. And really, there's no real topics. There are, but we never follow them, right? We just start rambling on about whatever.
Sounds
it is.
like about us.
like
Yeah.
Are those just in the Texas, or are you
That's
doing
where I
them
was going
national?
next.
Anywhere. Yeah.
So you're doing them remote or anything?
Yeah.
you
So
need
like
to?
I'm not gonna say the name, but like we're trying to get this podcast. One of our guys that we've been following for a while, he erects cranes for a living. And so one thing that we've been trying to set up for a while is get the podcast studio up on the boom of a tower crane. And then,
I can make that happen.
Can you actually?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, write that down because
Right.
we're gonna.
You've
we're
never
gonna,
seen Karen in a parachute.
Yeah. Right? Well, I told my videographer, I'm like, you're gonna have to get up there and film the thing. He's like, I don't know about that. He's like,
No, I
Use
can
your
make-
drone.
yeah. Well, I told him he's gonna have to fly the drone, but he'd have to, be up there too. But we're gonna set up probably like a little table and just put the, podcast setup up there and try to do the whole podcast on the top of the boom of a tower crane. Hopefully, it's not too windy.
Yeah. I see your wheels turning. I'm like,
Right.
Well,
that's
there's
not a
smoke coming out.
That's
of
not a
ears.
bad idea.
So we want to do cool things like that, but overall, a lot of it is phone calls right now. I haven't had a lot of time to really dive into it. I really want to, create a schedule where it's like, okay, every Tuesday we do a podcast, or every at least once every 2 weeks or something like that. Right now it's just, hey, absolutely love what you guys do. Can you jump on a podcast with me? And sometimes it's phone calls. Other times it's me traveling around the country and just trying to get people on the podcast.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff.
How much of your current video production is drone related versus ground based?
Kind of depends. It's not really, we'll just use the drone in any kind of video production that we need to, right? Like it develops location, more dynamic shots, that kind of thing. I think drones are really useful for the video production, but there's got to be a purpose behind it. If there's no purpose in having it, we've done underground mining. Like, there's no purpose in a drone hey, can you fly that underground? Well, I can, but there's no, I can just put the camera up here,
Right.
and I've already got the same sight as a drone would. So, it started off a lot more drone heavy because of the work we were doing, but now it's like, it's a lot different. So the drones definitely play a part though.
I like the whole creative thinking of podcasts and where to have them. So, I can see, I'm not looking at her on purpose, but I can see her looking at me,
Right.
and I'm like,
now she automatically hates me. She's like, I don't want to get up on a tower crane.
Man, this could, I'm thinking of setting off TNT, charges and all kinds of stuff. That would be really cool.
Hey.
What you don't know is that I almost jumped out of an airplane on Saturday.
Oh, did you really?
On purpose?
But the weather was bad, and
Well-
I have been. I do. It's been years, but I do scuba, so I'm down for both.
So how about we'll go jump, all four of us jump out of a plane on Tuesday, tomorrow.
Are you? No, we're not.
Let's get them set up. on this.
I've got the team in Casa Grande to do it.
I would do it.
I'll go do it with you. I'll GoPro the whole thing.
I would do it in a heartbeat if it wasn't for back surgeries and okay.
Excuses.
Never mind.
No
Okay.
excuses, just results.
For those who don't know, I got the eye. So, we probably should talk. This is a great place to do skydiving, by the way.
Yeah, no, Arizona's really well known. I was actually.
Have you never been, or have you?
No,
been?
I have, and it's my goal to get A license this year. That's part of. I wanted to get pilot's license and A license in skydiving this year before the year's up. And it's coming really fast, so it's kind of tough. I'll probably push pilot's license to next year and A license for skydiving this year.
Underachiever.
That's cool stuff. If you can get us ready to queue up for JJ's the next sponsor. Are you the next sponsor, JJ?
Sure.
Let's
do it today.
Let's jump off and do that, and then we'll come back and finish up.
There comes a time when dreams become a reality, when you see your vision materialize into a true work of art. And the only way to get there is to choose a general contractor who shares that same vision and knows how to bring it to life. At Blue Wave, we aren't so big that we've forgotten where we've come from, and we aren't so small that we can't care for your projects regardless of their size. When your vision deserves safety, perfection, timeliness, and expertise in order to become a reality, trust Blue Wave to get it done right the first time.
Welcome back.
Yeah, go gives me the high sign and then just looks at me.
I wanted to see what it was like to, be able to take that kind of
Please.
control.
No,
welcome back.
Did it feel good?
Well, I felt like Robert.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Good thing you didn't look like
So one of the things while the commercial was going on that I was thinking of is, if I'm listening or watching and understanding kind of what you're throwing out there for us for what you guys do, is I think we should draw a delineation and make sure that the audience knows this. I don't think you're a competitor for an existing CMO. So if a company has a marketing group that's doing it, whether it's outsource, insource, you augment that, right?
Yeah.
You don't compete with that.
Yeah, and that's really big because a lot of times we'll get a phone call, right, and we'll explain what we do. And I know on this podcast I've been kind of here, there, and everywhere. So
it's the way we
hopefully,
roll.
It's the way we roll.
Yeah. So sorry about that, but when we have a phone call with some of these companies, they say, "Well, we've got an entire marketing team. Like, we don't really need all these things." In reality, we're coming in there to partner with your marketing team for those companies. Some companies don't have those marketing teams, and we want to be that person for them. And then eventually bring those needed folks in, right? As we hire, as we look at building your company up, if it makes sense for your company to have more people in marketing staff, then we want to bring them in and we want to train them on how to do it correctly. Because one of the biggest wastes that I saw at one of my last companies was we had 11 people in the marketing staff, over $1 million in salaries, benefits, and all that kind of stuff. All they were doing was pushing out proposals every day. For the most part, that's all they had to do. Put together a proposal for a bid day, send it out. And that's 11 people on marketing. They weren't doing social media. They would go to career fairs and that kind of thing every once in a while. But like at the end of the day, what were they really doing? Those 11 people could have been utilized way better, way more efficiently. And we could have probably helped, a company take those people and utilize them where they needed to be. So yeah, we don't want to come in and hey, fire all your marketing folks. We're going to take over from now. We really want to build those people up and hopefully be able to come in there and partner with them in that aspect as well. So
yeah, I think that was a good point.
Yeah. Excellent point. Okay, how are people going to get a hold of you other than going to skyhigheagleeye.com?
Where, carrier pigeon or carrier eagle, I guess. No. No. So
wow, well done.
Yeah, there we go.
He's been thinking about that one for a while.
But they certainly can get you at through your website.
Yeah, through the website.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, everywhere. We've had some of our biggest clients reach out to us from TikTok. I mean, honestly, anywhere. My phone number is the number on the website. I don't know if I should say that because
you just did.
Now I'm gonna have everybody. Maybe I'll have to switch the number. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I will answer. Like if you give me a phone call, if I don't answer, you'll get my voicemail. If you leave me a voicemail, you'll get me. Eagle Eye Productions on Instagram, Eagle Eye Productions on TikTok, on LinkedIn. You can check out my personal page on LinkedIn. YouTube, we're starting to build up our YouTube. Hopefully, do a better job there, and hopefully attract people there as well.
Yeah,
man, you are actively looking to be here in the Arizona market, right?
Absolutely. I think there's a massive group of companies in this area that really don't do the kind of stuff that we're trying to take the initiative in providing. Mm-hmm. And they're good companies that really could produce a lot of great value from it. So we're looking to come into Phoenix. We're looking to come into Arizona and break out more in the West as well. We've got some contractors out in Cali that we work with regularly, but the Western area, the Western states, has a lot of potential that hasn't been tapped into. So
it's done now. So word will be out.
Open the door.
Yeah. I'll share this just briefly because I had this conversation with JJ. We've had just recently, the buzz has increased substantially, and we, being Mac and Blue, are discussed quite vigorously in the building Arizona folks. So I say, good for you, good for us.
Yeah, well, back to the ethos of how we started this conversation of, if you're not making connections, if you're not paying it forward. I mean, that's why we started this podcast in the first place.
Why
so,
we did it.
Having him on here is just another one of those.
Yeah, it's an extension of what we do, and it's been fantastic. we'll definitely have to have you back when you come back by on your way from DFW to
PHX
to ATL or
There
wherever.
you go.
Just let us know.
And if
Absolutely.
we see him jump out over Yuma, we'll know what it's for.
We'll know,
Entertainment
and
value.
we'll have to talk about that. We might
do some
be able
Halo
to make
jumps
that
right
happen.
into the studio
Yeah. Okay.
I see a lot of videos coming via parachute.
via parachute. Hey, there you go.
Yeah, I like it. That's it. I
Sweet.
guess we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Karen.
Hey.
Take us out.
Thanks, Forrest.
Thanks for having us.
You've been listening to the Mac and Blue Show, brought to you by Torrey Contracting and Blue Wave General Contracting. Be sure to subscribe to the Mac and Blue podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Follow Robert Johnson and JJ Levensky on LinkedIn and Instagram. And tune in live every Monday at 3 p.m. as we continue to introduce you to the people building Arizona. Walt Disney said, "You can dream, create, design, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it requires people to make the dream a reality." Until next time, make it a great day.